Hey everybody, welcome back to part 2 of seed haul and book haul. I wanted to share with you guys what I was getting, and now that I have all my seeds nice and organized in my little containers here, I thought I'd share with you the books and that keep me organized, gives me resources, and yeah, all that. So let's get into it. So the first one that I'm going to mention is one of my favorites, and it's actually one that my parents got me probably a decade ago. I think my daughter was maybe 1 and she's gonna be 11. So this is this book right here. It is just the Gardener's A to Z growing guide. So it gives you a lot of resources on how to organically grow fruits, vegetables, and herbs, and some tips and tricks like keeping bugs at bay or getting rid of fungal diseases and things like that that are natural and you don't have to spray your plants. So I really love that. It's got really cool information like apple trees. I reference this one a lot because I have apple trees, and cherry trees. I have cherry trees as well. Broccoli, Brussels sprouts. It'll tell you the soil and water needs, the temperature, measurements on how to plant them, some pests that they are susceptible to, as well as diseases, some allies, companions, like things that it's really good to grow with them along. And it'll tell you first seed starting date, germinate 3 to 10 days, transplant 42 days, plus, days before LFD, and then count back. And that's LFD is last frost date, in case you're unaware. But it's got a lot of great, it's just like quick reference material. So my next favorite that I've been really loving is this one. And I think I'm going to mess up the name. I think it's Gaia's Garden, A Guide to Homeschool Permaculture. It's her 2nd edition. It's super beautiful to look at. And it has a lot of great photos and information in it, including no-till gardening, why it's important, balancing your soil, doing compost. What else have I been reading about? So the table contents are the garden as an ecosystem, the pieces of an ecological garden, assembling the ecological garden. Just try and say it 3 times. So basically like how to plan your garden as like a permaculture situation, what you should have growing and like what you can grow with things and how you can situate things and where around your property and the seasons, and it's very intuitive type things. And so I've been really diving into this one because I'm trying to not just plop crap in the ground and hope it grows. That's how I used to do it, and sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't, but I wanted to kind of get more knowledgeable about what's going on with the garden. And so I grabbed that one. A friend of mine had it from the library and I saw it and really loved it. And so I bought it because I suck at returning books and I loved it so much that I just, wanted to have it in my hand. Another one of my favorite ones that they sell at the local garden store, I've kind of seen everywhere just because it's very specific to my area, is the Seattle to Maritime Northwest Garden Guide. You can, I think they're like 20 or 30 bucks. They're kind of pricey in my opinion, even though, the information that it has is very worth it. It has a growing guide here and it has a month-to-month guide, yearly calendar of vegetable growing, like this whole thing. So for June, it says gardeners fluctuate between underwatering through neglect and overwatering through panic. That is me. So anyway, it gives you tasks and like what you can harvest, what you should plant, what you should transplant, just like garden, like your duties and chores that you should probably look at doing. So outdoors throughout June, so outdoors through late June. So it's just a lot of also great advice about pests and that sort of thing, composting. So I really recommend this book. I would recommend getting it used though, like I did, which is probably why my cover is already falling apart, but the main part of the book is fine. So I think I got this for $11.95 on, where did I get it? Powell's online. So I got it used, which I would suggest. But it's a really valuable book. And if you don't live in the Pacific Northwest, then they have other garden guides for your area, I think. So you can just check that out. Okay, the next one that I really like is the Homegrown Tea. I do a lot of my own herbal teas. I like to grow my own herbs for the purpose of tea and salves and different things like that. And so this one's really cool because it tells you the herb, like what you can use it for, how to grow it, gives you really beautiful pictures, medicinal benefits, harvesting, yeah, all sorts of stuff. So this one's really pretty book. Just aesthetically, it's beautiful. And I really like this one. I got it for Christmas a year ago and I have enjoyed it since. This one is probably one I think most of you have or most people have that are really into herbs. It's Rosemary, Gladstar's Medicinal Herbs, A Beginner's Guide. I got this one several years ago as a gift. And that's kind of what I do. this one was a gift. The other one, I have a lot of ones that were gifted. I basically just asked for plant books for Christmas. That's kind of just all I do. So this one's really great because it has it's just a very beginner's guide. So it will tell you growing it, medicinal uses for it. It actually has recipes in here. Like this one's like the cayenne, what does it say? Creaky Bones cayenne rub. Aloe vera, how to grow it, how to use it. And it has, it tells you, shows you pictures of how to get the meat of it out. Also goes through oils. So how to make your own herb infused oil. Said that right. But yeah, and then on the back you can just see some of the things that it'll show you. So it's very similar to the Homegrown Tea, but it's for medicinal purposes specifically. Hi, creepy cat. Hello, pretty kitty. Hey, baby. What else? This one, I do my own herbal extracts. And so this one was gifted to me a year ago for Christmas. It's an herbalist guide to formulary by Holly Buono. Hopefully I'm not saying that horribly wrong. So this one's really cool because it is also, again, a medicinal herbs one, but it is specific to your ailments and stuff. So for example, chapter 4 is cardiovascular. And so it will take you, this one doesn't really have very many pictures, but it does have a lot of really good information. So general protocols for the heart. And it has, things you should do in your diet, like adding omega-3s, avoiding high fructose corn syrup, things that are general heart healthy, things you should be doing. And then it tells you, it has different tonics and stuff that you can make, from hawthorn, motherwort, rose, linden, and that sort of thing. Has specific things to do with cardiovascular, like high blood pressure, or if you, and then it'll give you a formula for it. So this one's really cool too. So it goes through, I like that it goes through the systems of the body. This one's memory and cognitive. This one's hormones and endocrine, which is the section that was really helpful for me personally. So, and then it goes through different women's hormones. If you are menstruating or if you are menopausal, for example, it'll go through the different kinds of eras in a woman's life and the different hormonal needs she is going through. So this one's really awesome. I love it. And then the last one that I really love is the Homesteaders Herbal Companion. It says the ultimate guide to growing, preserving, and using herbs. A lot of these books will tell me how to grow and use them. This one does the same, but it also has preserving methods in it, and it also has more recipes for salves and tinctures, extracts, and that sort of thing. And it has it talks about herb safety for children and elderly, which I think is really important. There are certain things you cannot give kids and elderly. There are certain things you can't have with your medications, and so they give you different warnings and information around that. Of course, you have to check with your doctor and naturopath anyway, but it kind of gives you these little things to do. But yeah, it's got just a lot of great recipes. It's chock full of recipes, which is why I was really excited about it. And it's just, again, it's a beautiful book. I like visuals. I don't buy books too often that don't have a good amount of visuals in them because I'm just a visual kind of person. So yeah, so those are the books. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those are my 7 favorites. The only other thing I wanted to talk about was what I use. I guess it's like a book. What I use for my garden. I feel like I may have shared this before. Grid paper notebook. That is another thing that I always have on hand with me. And it's because I like to map out my garden on the grid paper. I don't use like a fancy whatever notebook. I did recently buy this, like, it's kind of like a journal, but like, what seeds did you grow? What date did you grow them? When did you transplant them? What are the tasks that you accomplished? And you can, it's not date specific, you can put in your own date. I really like that one, but I'm going to use it more before I decide if I really like it. And then the only other thing I do that's like a written type thing for my garden, so I thought I would throw it in, is I do a note card system. And so it's not a book, but I do things like this. Like, this is what I'm going to sow in January. Hopefully that's not backwards, you guys. Very well, maybe. This says butterhead, romaine, bok choy, arnica, basil. I'm doing other stuff, obviously. And then I put down from the seed website. So this says lettuce, Vulcan AS from Adaptive Seeds. It's red, 50 days, because that's how long it takes. Sow indoors year round, transplant 3 to 4 weeks after sprouting, 3-inch leaves, 12-inch heads. That's how far they need to be spaced. You only need to space them 3 inches apart if you just want to take the leaves, which that will be my case. And then direct sow, you can do it March through September. So it's just a little bit of growing information because I feel like I can never remember the information that I need. Seed loofah is 100 days, but longer than that if you want to actually harvest them for a loofah. So, but I just have every month through June. So, I was surprised actually to find out how much I could grow if I started indoors, harden it off by moving it to the greenhouse. For the most part, our nights are kind of chilly, but the greenhouse stays usually above freezing and pretty warm during the day. So if I can keep that up, then they can just go out in the greenhouse and then I can transplant everything. I can have a nice early spring garden. So yeah, so that's everything I have for you guys, all the books and notebooks and different things that I use for gardening, for resources. I don't use all of these things all of the time. They're just reference guides. I've read enough of most, all of them. I've read enough of all of these that I know where I can find information. I've read a lot of information from it. I've marinated it in my brain, but I use them as reference materials. So I'm like, oh, I know this one book has, you know, this information or this recipe or whatever, and I'll just go and reference it, which is, I use them as reference material. I don't just read them front to cover to cover and then drop them and never get to them again. I kind of skim through, read the important parts or parts that intrigue me, and then I know what's in all the books. I can reference them. So that's kind of what I do for gardening. I'm always wanting to learn. If you guys have books you absolutely adore, journals and notebooks and books are totally my thing. So I would love if you guys would drop the suggestions in the comments so that I can go check them out. And I will link everything from part 1 and part 2 in the description where you can buy these things. I always suggest getting books secondhand if you can. If not, that's okay too, but I think they're really valuable and interesting to look at. So I guess that's it for part 2. Until next time, I guess that's everything. I will see you guys in the next video.